The grand hall of the Galactic Coalition shimmered with sterile light, every polished surface designed to impress, intimidate, even. Delegates from over 80 member species filled the amphitheater, tiers stacked like a spiral tower of judgment. At the center stood Earth's representative, Ambassador Lyra Chin, hands clasped behind her back, expression unreadable. Above her, a holoscreen flickered to life, displaying the motion that had triggered today's assembly. Motion 7-22B, to suspend Earth's military privileges until further evaluation. A murmur spread through the chamber. Not surprise, amusement. Verid High Lord Scarvethrix, all ridged blue skin and polished regalia, leaned into his console. His voice echoed like steel dragged across ice. For too long, Earth has hidden behind its history. Pacifism, they call it. Inaction, I say. While we, true galactic citizens, bleed to keep order, they watch from the sidelines, issuing warnings with no teeth. Let the record show they have contributed less than 1.7% to joint military operations over the past decade. A few scattered nods. A few snickers. Chen didn't flinch. Scar continued, smug now. If they will not fight, let them be disarmed. The galaxy has no place for cowards hiding behind caution. Chen stepped forward, calm and composed. Ambassador, the assembly chair intoned. You may speak. She nodded. Earth has spent the last 4 decades promoting diplomacy over escalation. Our restraint is not cowardice. It's caution. And a courtesy. A ripple of laughter answered her. Scar's grin widened. Courtesy? I suppose next you'll claim you've been holding back. Chen didn't blink. We have. Silence. Then Scar waved a dismissive hand. Let the vote commence. Back on Earth, in a command room buried beneath the South Pacific Ocean, Commander Talia Rourke watched the vote tally unfold on a screen. Red. 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 A few green flickers, minor allies, but they were buried under the flood of condemnation. Her second-in-command, Major Dax, stood beside her, arms crossed. They actually did it. Rourke said nothing. The screen chimed, motion passed. Effective immediately, ***. Then came the alert, emergency transmission from Epsilon Lyrae 3. Dax tapped in. The footage was uncut. Civilians screaming. Fire. Craters where homes once stood. No warning. No provocation. A direct strike from a Verid cruiser. Just hours after the vote. Dax muttered. They planned this. Rourke stared at the flames. They think restraint means incapable, she said quietly. She walked to the wall console, inserted her command key, and opened the sealed archive. / warning, Eclipse Protocol. The terminal scanned her retina. Authorization confirmed. Unlocking directive, restraint doctrine termination. 12 hours later, the Verid home fleet orbited the Serene Line, confident and loud. Celebrations rippled through their ranks. Humans had been defanged, and a colony raised without resistance. Victory came cheap. No one noticed when the comms started glitching. First, it was minor static. Then whole command trees went silent. Then ships began misreporting their own locations, pinging themselves as being hundreds of light years away. One Verid battleship simply vanished from the registry, along with the 8,000 souls aboard. No alarms triggered. No weapons fired. They were just gone. At a black site known only as Vigilant Mercy, Rourke walked through a hangar the galaxy didn't know existed. Rows of sleek, matte black warships sat idle, silent. Each was operated by integrated tactical AIs banned by the Coalition. Near the back, a containment unit housed Project Thorn, a tactical psionic, augmented beyond biological limits. She passed technicians who saluted without speaking. There was no ceremony here. Just purpose. Major Dax caught up to her. Commands confirmed. No transmission to the Coalition. No explanation. Full eclipse is a go. Rourke stopped beside a war table. A galaxy map unfolded in projected light. The Coalition thinks this is over, Dax said. That they've shamed us. Rourke nodded slowly. They've invited clarity. She turned to her crew, officers who had trained in the dark for decades, preparing for this moment. No speeches. No bloodlust, she said. We aren't here to make them suffer. We're here to make them understand. She pointed to the varied sectors on the map. Cut their eyes. Blind their fleets. Collapse their confidence. And when they beg for mercy, remind them that mercy was what we offered first. In the Galactic Assembly, a lone diplomat from the Delcari Union noticed something strange. A blinking icon on his comms feed. / incoming, Earth Strategic Response File. He opened it. Inside was a 15-second loop of Earth's now-scorched colony on Epsilon Lyrae. Then a simple message. We warned you. This was your choice. The message auto-deleted. Within minutes, over 300 similar messages flooded into Coalition terminals, embedded with untraceable quantum IDs. No origin. No location. Just one statement from Earth's High Command. Restraint doctrine terminated. Operation Eclipse active. No further messages will follow. Back on Vigilant Mercy, the command center lights dimmed as the war fleet initiated dark space transition. Rourke stood at the observation bay, staring into the endless black. Dax spoke beside her. So what do we call this? She didn't look away. We call it the last lesson. He nodded once. And after? After? She gave a thin smile. After, we go silent again. And let the galaxy live with what they almost destroyed. The hum of the engines deepened. In less than 60 seconds, they would vanish from known space. No broadcasts. No trails. Only shadows. Far above, in the cold vacuum of space, Earth's fleet disappeared from every sensor. They didn't run. They erased themselves. And the galaxy had no idea what it had just unleashed. No warning. No sound. No light. The Vera dreadnought Devotion of Strength floated proudly above Sector Zeta Rho, flanked by 6 escort cruisers. Their formation was flawless, triangular, widespread, overlapping defensive nets. They had been instructed to watch for retaliation, not fear it. Fleet Master Rollick paced the command deck, mandibles twitching. Earth is bluffing. They've always been soft. Diplomats with guns they never fire. His first officer nodded. We've seen no movement. Not a single vessel since the Lyrae attack. Still, something gnawed at Rollick's instincts. Then it happened. A single chirp from his console. A navigational anomaly. Just half a second off. He leaned forward. What was that? The system's operator frowned. Some kind of echo. Not a signal. Not a ping. Just distortion. Rollick narrowed his eyes. Trace the source. The bridge fell silent. Then the escort ship Vengeance Pearl blinked off the sensors. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Gone. No debris. Someone whispered. Rollick's claws flexed. Raise shields. Now. Too late. Across 500,000 kilometers, in a pocket of null space, Vigilant Mercy SAI hummed in calm efficiency. Phase 1 complete, it said. Commander Talia Rourke stood over the tactical display. The Verid formation had collapsed at the right flank, exactly where expected. She turned to the weapons officer. Begin Phase 2. Zero noise engagement. Confirm suppressive envelope. A reply came. Suppressive field locked. Full spectrum interference activated. They can't call for help. Not even screams will escape. Then let's proceed. On board the Devotion of Strength, Fleet Master Rollick watched another escort ship vanish, silent, bloodless. Still no enemy signatures. His officers shouted commands, systems scrambled. Weapons systems locked up, stuck in pre-fire diagnostics. Then the ship's artificial gravity twitched. Just for a heartbeat. Lights dimmed. Internal chronometers jumped 3 minutes forward. Rollick looked around. Who authorized the core recalibration? No one responded. A voice crackled over the comms. not from any system they recognized. You are experiencing mild quantum desync. This is normal. It will pass once you surrender. Panic followed. One Verid reached for the emergency comm override. He collapsed. No gunfire. No heat signature. His armor had frozen solid from the inside. Rowlick backed away. They're not boarding. They're inside. Back on Vigilant Mercy, the corridor leading to Black Cell 3 opened. Inside floated a man in a containment field, unmoving, eyes shut. His skin bore faint fractures of light, like hairline cracks in glass. His name wasn't known to the galaxy. Only his designation, Thorn. A technician whispered. He's not stable. He doesn't need to be, Rourke said. He needs to finish this. With a silent command, Thorn's field dropped. He fell to the floor and stood in the same motion. No orders. No salute. Just a single question. Where? In Sector Zeta Rho, the devotion of Strength S Bridge was a tomb. Officers slumped over stations. Those still conscious clawed at their helmets, as if something invisible pressed into their minds. Rowlick staggered to the command console, trying to broadcast a distress signal. He never reached it. The lights blinked, and in their place stood a human. Tall. Pale. Eyes glowing faintly. Hello? Said Thorn. He didn't raise a weapon. He didn't need one. The Verid's fear did the rest. In the Coalition's war room on Helia Prime, Scar Vethrix viewed the sector feed. Static replaced 6 separate channels. Automated relays failed. Long-range scans showed nothing. No wreckage. No heat plumes. Just silence. An aide stumbled in. We've lost contact with 12 more listening posts across adjacent systems. Scar stood frozen. They've disabled us without even being seen. The aide swallowed hard. What are we facing? Scar said nothing. Because he didn't know. Rourke watched Sector Zeta Rho disappear from the galaxy's map. A slow deletion. Silent. Calculated. Impeccably surgical. Major Dax stepped beside her. Not a single shot fired. The Verid will think their gods abandoned them. No, Rourke replied. They'll realize their gods never existed. And that humans never needed any. A low chime came from the communications console. Incoming signal. Open band. No encryption. She tapped it. A Delcari ambassador appeared, flustered and pale. Earth Command, please, we request terms. The Assembly demands a ceasefire. Rourke didn't blink. You're not at war with Earth, she said. We never declared it. But you declared our restraint invalid. And now you're seeing what we withheld. She ended the transmission. Back on Helia Prime, 100 alien diplomats screamed over each other in emergency session. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted surrender. Others demanded hiding, evacuation, amnesty. None had any answers. None knew how Earth had vanished, struck, and left no trace. But they all remembered one thing. Earth had warned them. They just hadn't listened. Now, as entire sectors flickered into silence, they finally understood. They weren't being attacked. They were being demonstrated to. The rain fell silently on Epsilon Lyrae 3. It wasn't water. The colony's artificial weather system, now in ruins, still sputtered out chemical condensation, falling in soft gray sheets across broken metal and scorched earth. Charred playground equipment lay twisted beneath the skeletal remains of collapsed dwellings. Bits of children's toys were scattered among glass and ash. Commander Talia Rourke stood in the center of the destruction, helmet off, face bare to the rain. Her eyes scanned the empty silence, but not for threats. Only memories. I was stationed here once, she murmured. Before they built the school. Major Dax stood a few paces behind her, quiet. Half the kids here weren't born when Earth joined the Coalition, she said. They didn't even know what a Verid was. Dax didn't answer. Rourke turned to him. How many survivors? He checked his slate. 8. All off-site during the attack. The rest. He trailed off. She didn't need the rest. I want them to feel this, she said. Dax hesitated. The Council's requesting a statement. Something, anything. Rourke looked back at the ruins. We gave them words for 50 years. They answered with fire. High Lord Scar Vethric stared at the transmission hovering in his private chamber. Earth hadn't struck their homeworld. Hadn't bombarded their defenses. No fleets had appeared in Verid space. But their archive world, Veshtari Prime, had gone dark. No lights. No response. No scans returned. At first, they assumed sabotage. Then came the message. No encryption. No audio. Just a static image, Earth's seal overlaying the words. We did not erase your people. We erased your memory. Now live with nothing. Scar's claws trembled as he accessed his own Neuro archive. Corrupted. The entire cultural database, songs, rituals, history, genetics, scrambled into nonsense. Even personal records were fractured. He couldn't recall the name of his firstborn. He screamed. In orbit above the erased archive world, Earth's strike fleet drifted in quiet formation. No weapons drawn. No kinetic bombardment. Just presence. On vigilant mercy, Rourke sat in the war room, surrounded by silence. Dax stepped in. We've received 12 separate surrender offers. One from the Verid. One from the Hreskin. Even the Tharn. She raised an eyebrow. The Tharn? They offered their entire defense network in exchange for human oversight. She shook her head. Too late. He handed her a datapad. This one's different. Coalition General Assembly. Emergency motion to restore Earth's full command privileges. Unanimous vote. She read it in silence. Then set it aside. Tell them we acknowledge receipt, she said. No other response? Rourke looked him dead in the eye. We are not here to negotiate. In the command center of the Delcari flagship Harmonious Intent, Ambassador Tezhar pleaded with a dozen holographic figures from the Coalition's member races. You saw what they did without firing a single round. They took Sector Zataro off the map. They silenced entire systems. They unmade history. One alien barked. Then we strike back. With what? Tezhar snapped. They let us live. They left our fleets intact. We can't even locate their real bases. Another voice chimed in. You're saying we surrender? I'm saying they never declared war. Which means we were never enemies. Silence. Just guess, Tezhar whispered. In a house they were kind enough not to burn. On Earth, a council of human leadership met for the first time in years, virtually, across secured quantum channels. Each nation, each region, all represented. They asked only one question. How far will we go? Rourke's answer came from orbit. As far as we must. No further. Hours later, her fleet began withdrawal. No victory speeches. No final broadcasts. No new demands. The galaxy expected a storm. They got a vacuum. In the absence of human presence, alien systems remained paralyzed. Former aggressors dismantled their fleets voluntarily. Dozens of governments collapsed. Refugees fled away from borders Earth had once patrolled, fearing retaliation that never came. But Earth didn't return. It simply faded from the galactic stage. Again. Months passed. Then, one day, a Verid reconnaissance vessel stumbled upon a derelict outpost floating near the fringe. No life. No power. Just a single human beacon, blinking endlessly. They approached cautiously. On its hull, scorched into the plating by precision plasma, were 3 words in Earth standard. This was mercy.